Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Debbie G, and this is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today, and we're getting used to I am getting used to StreamYard. I'm now actually over on Debbie's side of StreamYard, and Debbie has a much cooler setup than I have, so that's why I'm over here. Plus, we are now expanding our reach. We're not only going to our LOA Today page and our group and other stuff like that, YouTube, or to the Twitter notification, but we're also on Debbie G's Spirituality Gone Wild. So this is like twice the stuff for half the price. I mean, this is really cool stuff going on here, and it's not even half the price because I mean, this is as cheap as it gets. So thank you very much, Debbie, for that. I mean, we appreciate that so much. But how you doing? You're looking good.
Thank you. I am doing great. It's been a busy week, and I mean, it's been great, having a blast. One of the things that I love, also, y'all, Walt is going to be in the new edition of Grateful Living, and James Twyman's on our cover.
Ooh, yeah. All right.
So, yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Plus, we have a lot of great stuff coming up. We have a really awesome event Walt is also part of, and that is the 420 through 422 event that is out in Arizona for the KINS community, which is a veterans community. LOA is also a big supporter of that, so we're going to be out there, and Walt, I will be bringing him in remotely as well. We have another event on 5/1, which is the Spirit of Abundance, and you can find all of the things that you need to start registering for that on the Spirituality Gone Wild page under events. The Spirit of Abundance, please look for that over the weekend. It will be up. And I'll have how that you can register to get your free copy of Grateful Living. Of course, you can just go to spiritualitygonewild.com, spiritualitygonewild.com, and just click on Grateful Living. And soon enough, you're also going to be able to just click right there on LOA Today. Make sure you get the app. Well, take it over.
Well, that's easy. The app is really simple. It's available on every platform. So you just go to whatever your favorite place is to download. Like on an iPhone, you go to the App Store. On an Android phone or an Android tabloid, you just go to the Play Store. You can even do it through the website, loatoday.net, for a Mac or a PC. I mean, we got it for all different platforms. And then you just download and you install, and you get all the good stuff that comes there. You get 25 episodes of the 25 most recent episodes of the show. You get 3 ebooks, 2 audiobooks, 1 video, of course, and a partridge in a pear tree. So, I mean, it's all good stuff. And guys, all of you who are my regular LOA Today listeners, you just got your first dose of why Debbie is just full of energy. I mean, look, she just kind of took over there. It was great. I loved it. So this is what you're going to get more of going forward. I'm just telling you, be ready for this. It's going to be good.
Hackaroonies.
Hey, we got another email this week, Debbie. I had to tell you about this one. We got an email from Deborah, and Deborah was responding to the word compersion. She loved the word compersion. She says, what a fabulous new word. I so love words, as you well know. It's something I've been practicing for years without knowing what it's called. It's so important, particularly between women, she says. As long as it's truly heartfelt, we all know when it's just empty words and not envy in disguise, which you can absolutely feel. The term healthy envy has always really jarred with me. If it's envy or jealousy, it sure ain't healthy. Deal with your S-blank-T, people. Sorry for you needing to edit that, she says. Love that Debbie was literally scared of her own shadows. So funny. And shadows are what haunt us at all times when we're in fear. Exactly right. Shadows are unresolved issues that cloud our every waking moment, but have no power over us other than the story that we still believe around them. And that can be released with a shift of perspective. What a brilliant graphic example of this. I so love the show. I so love Debbie in her real rawness, fun, and irrepressible spark, and deep compassionate wisdom. What a joy to spend a delightful hour in the company of 2 such lovely souls. And what amazing life experience she has, and that she definitely needs to put it into a book. I so want to read it, as no doubt thousands more do. Thank you ever so much, Deborah. Oh, and by the way, P.S., she said, great to hear Louise's health progress. So happy for you. So thank you, Deborah. Really cool. Really, really good.
Jiminy crickets, Deborah.
See, I mean, we get emails here. We get, and we're not like getting one-liners. These are like, paragraphs of stuff.
I mean, geez, Jiminy Crickets. I mean, yeah, can we just thank anybody that takes that kind of time to express their gratitude?
Right?
I want to step into this. Thank you. Just simply thank you.
Okay.
Something, you know what? Well, and Deb, listen, I love your name too. Really cool.
I wonder why.
Because we're the D name, man.
The D name. That's it. There you go.
The D name. So I had Vimla on yesterday morning, Vimla Rogers. This woman is almost 86 years old. Ooh. She teaches how to change your life through handwriting. So it's another LOA today. She's coming, baby, because she is
handwriting.
Oh, dude, she has been practicing this. I kid you not, since she was like 4. Wow. She was, it's a fascinating story. Louise Hayes was her student.
No kidding.
I am just, that's only one of them, darling.
Wow.
That's only one of them. She's one of the most extraordinary creatures I've ever had the honor of even experiencing. She said something very profound, though, and this is for men and women, but in stepping into our power, receiving. A lot of us, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but receiving wasn't, I was really good at giving, especially if I, at one point when the giving was getting me the attention. So I was a great people pleaser. Mm-hmm. After shifting that, and the giving was just part of who I am because it's part of gratitude. Gratitude works in 2 ways. And I did a lot of study on this too through Dr. Robert Emmons out of USC Berkeley. And the study of gratitude and the receiving back. So I want you to think about this. When we go into, if you were to say how, like you just said, I look really good, and I said, thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be, do that again. Tell me I look really good.
Oh, Deborah, you're looking really good today.
Oh, thanks. I just kind of just have my hair done, and I just threw this, and I just threw this on because it's just old little thing. But thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, come on now, do it again.
Deborah, you're looking great today.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a different feel. It's a very different feel.
Isn't that great? And so, even though we know this, it's really important to really pay attention with intention, how that you're responding, and understand that when we are not willing to receive what is being offered to us from a heart space, that we're robbing the person who's giving us the gift.
We're robbing ourselves.
Well, we're robbing ourselves too. It's like if somebody's going to give you a gift and you're like, well, I know I'm not going to want it and I know I'm not going to like it. You're going to take it anyway and you're going to love it. And here's why. Because they probably put a lot of time and effort into it. And just a simple fact, I don't care what it is. Just the fact that somebody thought about you is enough to say thank you for. It doesn't even matter what else it is. Yeah. The fact that you were, just imagine this, you took space in their brain and their heart long enough to create something for you. And that's a huge, big deal.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah. In fact, what you're talking about here recalls to my mind something that LOA Today listeners already know about Cindy Chavez, who does the Wednesday shows with me and Monique Scott. Cindy likes to remind people not only the importance of being enthusiastic, but not deflecting. Because, I mean, she told it from her own perspective, her own story. Somebody would, for instance, she'd be out to dinner with somebody and they'd offer, let me take the check. She'd say, oh, no, I'll take that. Instead of saying, thank you, I so much appreciate that. And didn't realize for years that what she was doing was denying herself abundance. How often do people do that?
And all the time. The point. Okay, I'm curious, audience. How often do you do that?
Yeah, let's take a poll here, right?
I know. I'm telling you what. Woo! And I want to say hello to Hosea Smerio. I love you. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Kathy. Kathy, this is Walt. Walt, this is Kathy, and we'll be meeting up after this. I know.
Hi, Kathy. Nice to meet you.
I love it. So Well, this kind of takes me into what I was going to talk about today anyway,
You got a
actually.
pretty cool, couple cool topics here. I guess they kind of merged together, and you didn't give me any details, so I'm going to be hearing the story along with everybody else. But it involves Disneyland and it involves saving a life. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to tie together. So tell us.
Yep. And tie together what we were just talking about with being in receipt. But hang on a second. Anita wants to know, which alien race are you?
Good question.
Which one do you think I am, darling? Ooh, I could be any of them, dear. You never know. I don't know my biological daddy, so your guess is as good as mine. That's true.
Well, it actually works really nicely with the picture you got behind you, because you got some angel wings behind you, and the way they're positioned behind your head, they almost look like they're wings coming out of your head. So this is like your alien look going on.
It is. Yeah. It's my alien angel look, because spirituality has just gone wild.
No doubt.
There's right there. Wait, there. Grateful.
Aha.
You think I'm a Palladian? Oh, you're so cute. I love that. I could be a Palladian. I've been told Palladian, Atlantean. Here's what I do. Honestly, I want to answer this. I think we all have the DNA of something somewhere, because it's been around. We've been around so long that I think we've all been a little bit of something at one time. And then again, I don't hold me to it. I might be wrong because I haven't croaked.
Well, at least not this time around.
Well, I haven't done it yet, but I mean, I don't know. If I do croak, I'll come back and haunt you specifically, Walt.
I'm sure you will. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I just know you will be. Whispering in your ear. You'll be chilling with your wife. Hey, Walt, do this.
Whoa, where did that come from? Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll totally invade your space. So I'm not planning on croaking or oopsie daisy or anything soon. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. Okay.
I actually hope you plan to stay around for a while. I know I do. And it's much more fun here on Earth. That's why we come here. We come here to enjoy this place here on Earth. So let's stay for a while.
Yeah, well, that's kind of an exciting thing that we don't really know when we're going to go. So you may as well take advantage of the day that you're in and embrace it and love it fully and wholly. Okay. Y'all ready?
Here we go.
Here we go. Drum roll, please. All right. So when I was a little girl, I loved going to Disneyland. Like hardcore loved going to Disneyland. My parents took us like every Tuesday, because this is back when there were like e-tickets and stuff. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Disneyland was my favorite place. I used to throw a fit, Walt, because I had to leave. And then I would get a little princess. Well, I'd get a princess ring or whatever. Disneyland holds a really, really, really great space in my heart. Anyway, in high school, I played clarinet. I marched at Disneyland. I went behind the scenes at Disneyland. I went behind the big giant. Okay, when you first walk into Disneyland and you go down Main Street and you come up to the fire station, there's these big gates, and that's where the behind the scenes starts out when they're in the parades and stuff. So I'm back there, and then Mickey took off her head. No, I'm like 16 years old. I tell you, I am a Disney fanatic, and here I said, please put that back on. I said, what are you doing? It's all sweaty and hot, and I'm like, that's I think when my first major Disney trauma started, but no, just kidding.
I can understand that. Yeah, there's a little trauma there, even if you're 16.
It was just trauma, It was some of the greatest experiences of my life. So, and I say all this to preface and get you guys ready. I'm prepping you. I'm your fluff girl today, and I know that sounds so bad.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm fluffing y'all up ready for this one. So, later in life, my children are, they're in their 30. One's 30 and one's 29. One's 30, almost 33. Well, they were in school. So they were in kindergarten in like second or third grade. I'm at home. I'm home alone, and I hear this like screaming outside of my house. And I'm thinking, the heck? So I go out there, I don't see anything, go back inside, I hear it again. Like, what the heck? So I go out and I go out of my front gate, and there was this we had a big giant brick wall, so I couldn't see what was going on, anything. I go around the corner and there's my neighbor's son who's all of like 18 years old, laying on the ground, bleeding out. He can't move.
Oh my.
He had locked himself out of the house and went to go through the window, and it was the old style windows that were up and down, and it fell down, it smacked down, and it literally sliced his leg all the way down.
Ooh.
So I'm looking at blood pumping out of his body.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is intense. I just looked down, looked at him, and I said, I'll be right back. Man, I ran, and it was as cool as that too. I ran right back in. I'm thinking, okay, instant, boom, boom, boom. So we don't have cell phones. We have cordless phones. I'm sorry. No. let me explain to y'all what that there were these things back in that. We used to have telephones inside our home, and they had wires, and you plug them into the wall. It was kind of like a USB thingy, but no, telephone. Anyway, I go running out there. I've got the phone. I grabbed a pillow and I grabbed a freaking towel. Ran out there, put his head under there. I've got 911 dialing as I'm running, and I pushed down on his giant freaking wound, guys. It was so bad. I didn't give a rat's ass. I didn't care. I just looked like, oh man, no, you're just not dying on my time, man. This is not happening. So I'm just like holding him, and I'm holding him so tight, and I've got them on the phone, and he's like, oh my God, I think I'm shaking. And I said, no, that's me. You're good. Because it was me.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, really.
Yeah. I'm like, I was like, well, I was holding with so much strength and power because I had to do it. So ambulance finally gets there, and they get him and they take him away and everything. And I'm just like, that's when I just like start crying and praying for, it's just this part. So it's like, I just wanted him to be okay. Sure. It was just like such a major big deal. And man, I was just wanting him to be okay. So his parents later on, I went over later when his parents got home and everything, and we touched base, and they didn't speak a whole lot of English. They spoke mostly Spanish. And dude, they had washed the bloody ass towel and folded it up and were crying tears of joy. He had 168 stitches.
Oh my.
He had, I forget how many pints of blood. Yeah. And the nurses, they said, if I hadn't heard him, he would have died. He was like, sure. He lost so much blood. And I remember just sitting there and just so much, I was just so grateful that this young man was okay. His parents were just like wanting to give me things, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to. I really, I did take the nasty test. I didn't, not that the guy's blood was nasty or anything. I just didn't want a towel that had been saturated in blood. I'm like, yeah, no, I've seen those movies. They still, I know it doesn't wash out. I've seen that. That's crime scene shit. No, I don't want the towel. So this young guy, about a week later, he is at home, and he comes over to my house, and he's like thanking me, really just like crying, thanking me. And he's like, listen, I work for Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
Disneyland's coming back around.
There it is.
There it is.
Knew it had to be in here somewhere.
It had to be. Yeah. So he's like, I work at Disneyland, and this is where we're going to talk about this receiving bit that's about to come up right now. So he's like, I can get free tickets all the time. Like, I'm giving you passes to go whenever you want to go. We're just going to log you in. You and your kids, please just go whenever you want. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really sweet. But that's, dude, not necessary. the fact he was alive was
Yeah.
all I needed. I didn't feel like, you don't need to give me squat, man. The fact you are living right now is way huge. That's the gift. And he's like, wouldn't have any of it. Would not have it. So I'm like, okay, and I said thank you. And I didn't use it though. I didn't
No.
use it. I didn't use it. And then my son's birthday was coming up. And then he comes back over to me and he's like, you haven't used it. And I said, not yet, not yet. But this is again back to receive. Okay, you see, this was really important for him to do for me.
Yeah.
My not accepting it wasn't that heart exchange was having a hard time happening for him.
Mm-hmm.
I saved the kid's life. I imagine he probably did want to have me go to Disneyland. I would too.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Jeez, right? So I finally said, okay, it was my son's birthday. And we started using it. We only lived 15 minutes away.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, you didn't have an excuse even. I mean, you were that close.
Yeah, it was just more about the idea that I felt like his life was our gift, and I felt funny at that moment, but now, of course, I'm like, I get it. And so sure enough, I just started going to Disneyland, and my kids and I went all the time, and had a blast because I love Disneyland. Star Wars, or going on Space Mountain. I love going on Space. Even it's not that I'm a roller coaster chickie, and so I kind of have to turn around and make it more exciting. So maybe I'm so backwards.
You're one of those people.
I'm one of those people. I'm like, I'm the people's that literally, I'm the people's that stood in 3.5 hours of a line at Magic Mountain to go on something called Shockwave when I was like 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You stood on this one all the way.
Oh.
I have never been on a cooler roller coaster. I got off that and my legs were and my friend Deanne and Deanne, I'll send this to you just because I love you. I've only known you since I was 15. So check it out. We were just like, do we do it again? And we look at this line and this line's like going like, oops, this line's like going, oh, it's nuts. But yeah, I love the thrill, but there's a reason I love the thrill. We'll get to thrill. We'll get to that in a minute.
Fortunately, we don't have, or unfortunately, we don't have a speech therapist on staff here. So, we'll just kind of work through that stuff and not worry about it too much.
That's good. Yeah, I'm just going to let that happen.
Yeah. Tongues sometimes get misplaced, and, we just have to wait till they come back to the mouths, and then we're okay.
Yeah, it needed a break. Sorry.
Yeah. I could tell.
Like it's its own
I could do a promo if it would help, just to give you a little more.
Oh, why don't we do that? Well, let's do some promo because, it needs a break.
Okay, so actually, this is a promo that I have been meaning to get back into the regular podcast on an episode by episode basis because I haven't done it in a while, and it seems so obvious, but we just got to the point where I knew everybody who had been listening was a subscriber that I didn't worry about it, but. Now we're getting more and more people who aren't subscribers. So, if you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber. It's free. And we're on all the major platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. We're anywhere that you can be listening to a podcast. That's where we are. Or you can just do it through the LOA Today app. That's another reason for downloading the app. But become a subscriber. Some of our happiest and most loyal listeners, they just binge listen to us. They'll put us on in the background while they're, working at home or working at the office or something like that. And it pays off. I mean, I shared a story with you just the other day, Debbie, in preparation for the next release of your magazine. And I mean, you saw that story. It was mind-blowing what this person did just listening to the podcast. She was giving us the credit. Actually, she deserved all the credit. We were just kind of, keeping her vibe up a bit in the background, but she was doing all the work. And she did this amazing transition in 1 year, like losing weight, getting a new boyfriend, and getting a better job. And like her whole life just ironed out in 1 year. And she gave us credit for it. I still think that's unfair, but we appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. We appreciate it because we like the fact that we contributed to it. But I guess that's my way of saying, take advantage, don't let her be the only one who gets the advantage of being a subscriber. Be a subscriber and do some binge listening.
Absolutely. And you're just going to go to, it's just straight to LOA.com.
Well, yeah, you can do it through loatoday.net. It's actually .net, loatoday.net, and then /download. That will actually redirect you to the appropriate download page for your device. So like if you're on an iPhone, it'll take you to the app page, or if you're on an Android phone, it'll take you to Google Play, or if you're on a PC, it'll take you directly to an app you can install. I mean, it just takes you to the right place for your device.
All right, it's floating across the screen here, guys. I'm going to pop this over into the chat. All right, so it's right here. Please go get go get the app, lap.
The lap, well, it can be used in a lap. I mean, I play it on my iPad, you know.
It can be on your lap if it's in your phone. It's in your lap. I mean, it's
sure.
Whatever, it works. It all does. So, ready for some more stories?
So now back to our regularly scheduled story.
Stories. Okay, so let's talk about me. Let's talk about I. Let's talk about.
Well, I got a couple things.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that song?
I can't say I know that one. No.
Toby Keith.
Don't know it.
Oh, it's hilarious. I tell you, because it's anyway. I was playing with you, and you don't know the song, so now I'm overplayed.
That's all right. We'll live.
Okay.
You have
all right.
None of the remember. No energy is ever lost. No matter what, if somebody else, even if somebody else that you're intending it for isn't getting it, doesn't matter. Somebody else gets it who you don't even know about. So
y'all got it right.
Y'all
got it. Y'all got it. Somebody out there got it. I don't know who y'all you got it, but somebody got it. And here's what you're witnessing right now. Just live. Anyway, hey, Walt, you were just going to say something or do something?
Well, actually, I had some notes from last week. One of them, and I don't even know what the reference was exactly, but I made a note that says humming and exchanging energy, and it was related to something that you said. Do you remember what that was about?
Humming, yes, the humming effect. Jonathan and Andy Goldman, I had them on, and as a matter of fact, here, I'll even pop this over at you really quickly. Let me just switch studios here briefly, and I will show you guys. So this is Jonathan and Andy Goldman. All right. You can go to spiritualitygonewild.com and go to Grateful Living. And then you can just click right here and go over to their website. Get the book, The Humming Effect. And here's why. Because humming is your natural healer for your body. It's the vibration. It's the sound. And it clears energy. Now, I'm not a scientist, but they've done scientific research on everything that I'm talking about right now. And also, so what if it does or doesn't work?
True.
Yeah. So what? Do you need it to prove it's okay? Who can't hum? Y'all may not want to hear me sing. You may not want to hear me, or maybe you would. But you wouldn't mind. And breath, you see, it works in conjunction with your breath. So it brings you to center immediately. Now try this. I mean, just try. Ready? Take a deep breath in. And he's got like this baritone thing going. That was rock star, man. Anybody ever? Okay, I'm not gonna. There was a movie one time. A really famous DJ did. Howard Stern. Remember Howard Stern? Remember the Howard Stern movie? And he had like those big, look at Howard Stern. Stern obviously was into humming because he brought these chicks in with these really big speakers. And he put them on there. I don't know if y'all saw this movie or not, but he did. And he was humming. I'm sorry, your hum just reminds me of the hum he was using, except it was vibrating the speakers. And well, y'all have to watch the movie to go see. That's even a different episode. And it's daytime right now. We're not supposed to do that.
I just learned over the years, anytime the words Howard Stern come into a sentence, I usually just keep my mouth shut because that gets really dangerous for a male to talk about.
Well, I like Howard.
Well, that's okay. I'm not. It's good that you like Howard. It's just that anytime a male says something, he's going to get in trouble. So
I mean, just don't. Yeah. Just zip it. Actually, was it today? Okay, I was looking in I love this book. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Oh, this book. Let me tell you all something. So I picked this up and I flipped it open to something. And yesterday, you ever had a moment when you just really need to shut your mouth, but you don't shut your mouth, and then you really wish you'd shut your mouth?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think
we all have at some point or another. Because, every once in a while we're a little off kilter. We're not quite in alignment, and then all of a sudden we say something, and we say, "Oh God, why did I say that?" And then the inevitable response comes back, and now all of a sudden you're in that bad energy territory. Yeah.
Yeah, or backpedaling to.
Backpedaling. Yeah, that'll do it too. Yeah.
A little to the left, a little to the right, till you can get back in straight again. Mm-hmm. I had some reflection to do on that, and I thought to myself, was it kind? Was it necessary? And was it true? It was true. It was kind how I said it. Was it necessary? No. That was the part. Was it necessary? It may be true. It may be kind, but was it necessary? It was not. It didn't pass my criteria, but it still passed my lips.
It doesn't sound terrible. Let's put it that way.
It wasn't terrible, and I'm like, no. At all. Did it need to be said? Yeah. Was it necessary at that moment? No. And my discernment of timing was matters. Inappropriate. Well, yeah, it does matter. And what I needed to express could have been expressed at another time. But I was in this energy of like I'm, and then that's my own attachment to an outcome or whatever that I think it should be like this, and it doesn't turn out like that. And then I get pissed because I have this attachment. There is no such thing as any of that disappointment happening if you're not attached to it in the first place. Mm-hmm. No expectations in life. Let's have some anticipation. Well, I wasn't having anticipation. I was having expectation. Mm-hmm. And my expectations were not met, and that's my bad, period. Also, because I didn't express that prior. Sometimes things take a little bit of, we go back to the fluff girl stuff. I mean, seriously, you got to prime them up a little before you can really get in there, make a container, if in communication, we are heard most when we are in safety, then isn't it safe to consider that crossing off every one of those, is it kind, necessary, or true? All of them have to be crossed before stepping into the safety of that communication area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. Of course, I think there's also room for self-forgiveness too, because like you said, we do kind of stumble into it at times. And when we stumble into it, well, it's not like we can take it back. Yeah, we try to backpedal. You pointed that out. You're quite right. We do try to backpedal. But you know what? It's still out there. So at some point we have to say, you know what? Okay, I blew it, but big deal. I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to beat myself up about it.
I love that. And I'm really good at not beating the crap out of myself. I mean, I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
All right, y'all. Tell me if you think, okay, I'm going to throw one at you. You ready, y'all? Oh, this is ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Let's do it. Ready?
Okay.
Forgiveness. Oh, y'all are going to love this shit. Stuff.
There it is again.
Damn.
There goes the G rating right out the door.
I don't even know what to say.
Forgive yourself. Don't worry about it.
Oh, we're ready? Forgiveness is just another form of judgment. Because in order to forgive it, you have to judge it.
Oh.
So I want to sit with this. Now, this comes from the elders. 2 of them yesterday. Both of them do not know each other. Both of them said the same thing. And I sat back and said, there's something here. And when I say elders, I'm talking about people in their almost 90 years old, have almost been on this planet for an entire century, who have lived through way more than we ever thought of. And we're still in our little pamper butts as far as they're concerned. I mean, well, come on, look at a 30-year-old. I look at a 30-year-old. You still got your pampers on. You're cute.
It's all perspective. It's all perspective.
They still do. But to me, in other words, they're babies. They're still babies. They're still really, they've got so much life still to live and their own experiences to have happen. But these elders really like took me into a space of like, oh man, if in fact I have something to forgive, I am not looking at a situation, if it's true that everything is divine in the way that it should be, period, then how can you judge it? And how do you need to forgive it?
Well, this is an interesting example of how words can have different values attached to it, because that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about how are we going to evaluate the word forgive.
Yeah.
And we can be looking at it like they're saying, we can be looking at it in a judgmental way, but we can also be looking at it in a different way. We can be looking at it in a way of, I am letting go for my own benefit, which is another way of saying I'm not judging. So it can be both judgmental or it can be non-judgmental. It's really up to us how we're going to look at the word forgive.
I'm going to look at it like this.
Okay.
I ignore my chicken. Ignore that. Okay. I'm using a forgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Forgive.
Yeah.
Forgive. So what gift did it give you? What gift did it give you? The thing that you need to forgive. What did it give you?
Now Jeffrey's got an interesting take on it here too. I'm going to throw his comment up here. He says, judgment happens. Humans can't help it. That's why forgiveness and compassion is so transcendent, ultimate understanding. That's another good way to look at it.
I love that. So I agree. The judgment does happen. The judgment happens. And the idea here, Jeffrey, for me anyway, is to look at judgment as a self-reflection of what I need to see within me, not the other person. So in that respect, then I can also step into an acceptance space. So if I'm curious with what's real and what's happening and what's going on, and I love all that you're saying because I do believe this is true, the compassion will be there. You're right. So what I encourage with this is this willingness to be curious. The willingness to be curious, the willingness to be accepting. You see, to be accepting, because so forgiveness and acceptance are kind of neck and neck, because if you're accepting something, you've already been through that process. So the curiosity to me, the curiosity is what helps me to curb judgment. And it's real simple, because then I go, I wonder what's real for them right now. Like, wonder what's happening. And see, yesterday I could have used a dose of my own damn medicine. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And I did. I could have swallowed that puppy, man, because I'll tell you what, I could have used it. Because if I had been curious what was real for another human being, then I would have remembered that this girl just lost a young this person had just went through their friend dying the day before from suicide. And I would have been not in my business mode, but in my heart space. And had I just been curious why that things were the way that they were, rather than stepping into, is it kind, is it necessary, and is it true? And you see right there. So I'm just telling you, it's a point of observation, okay, that if I was to be curious what was real for her, I probably never would have even really stepped into that, because I would have been so hyper aware that she needed my heart. And most of the time when somebody is doing something that's probably not our preference, most of the time something deeper is always happening, and something deeper is always going on. And that's usually the case. So when we're willing to see what's real for another human being, it helps us, I believe, into the next phase, which is acceptance. And acceptance It just is, you know, you accept what is, not, well, I love everything about you, except, I don't mean it like,
not acceptance, acceptance.
I don't mean it like that.
Mm.
I mean it like, well, I accept you exactly how you are for
Right.
who you are. And I make the intention to see that heart of yours and see how it shines.
And I appreciate that, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
And going into appreciation is definitely the next one to come through, my love. Appreciating. Because you can't, let me tell you what, y'all, can you appreciate anything you cannot accept?
That's actually how I spend a large portion of my day, doing exactly that, or running into my own brick wall that I created and then trying to tear the wall down so that I stop running into the walls, because I don't like it when I run into walls. It hurts.
It sucks. You get like,
Yeah.
have you ever done a corner one, man? You just knock yourself right here.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I told you how tall I am, right?
Well,
I once worked as a bank teller many, many, many years ago.
Oh, wow.
And one time I literally walked into the bank vault. And what I mean is one of those steel vaults with the steel frames. I walked into it and hit my head on the bank vault.
Oh, shit.
And fell immediately to the floor, unconscious for about 5 seconds. I mean, that's how hard it hit. So yeah, you learn, that's one advantage of being as tall as I am. You learn very quickly to be careful about what you walk into. It can really hurt.
Okay, so y'all don't know, we are the part of the gargantuan crew.
Yes.
We had somebody ask earlier what aliens we are. We're the big ones.
And when you've seen the movie Avatar, that gives you an idea of what we're talking about size-wise.
Yeah, huge, big. I'm 5'10", almost. Well, and I wear heels, so I'm 6'1", easy. Oh yeah.
I've always thought that was really cool. A tall woman wearing heels. Anyway, I thought that was great.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love it because it's just like my legs just become really super long. Hey, Walt, you're like 6'8", right?
Yeah.
My son is 6'7", and my other one is 6'4". My granddaughter's almost 5 feet tall, and she's 8.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh yeah.
Land of the gargantuans. You know what? When my children were little, I was, because we come from the alien land, we put Miracle Grow in their babas.
I always wondered where my height came from. Now I know.
Your mom got the same memo. She put the Miracle Grow in your babas. And for anybody listening to this, please don't ever put Miracle Grow in your baby's baba. I'm not fucking. Don't do that. Please, you come back and say we put the Miracle Grow in. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I had to say that. God, you never know what the heck. Okay, so wait, we weren't done on our list here. Let me go back to our list.
I also wanted to go back to something about forgiveness.
Yes.
Because there was another thought that came to my mind about that. This is something, again, that Cindy Chavez has pointed out to me. I thought it was a really good point. The main purpose of forgiveness is not to benefit the person you're forgiving. The main purpose for forgiveness is to let go yourself of whatever it is that you're feeling this need to forgive for. That's the whole purpose of forgiveness. People kind of twist it around to like, oh, well, I'm forgiving to forgive this other person who did something wrong. No. That's not why you're forgiving. You're forgiving to let go of the whole thing for your benefit so that you're in a better space. That's the whole point of forgiving.
It is. And I agree with that 100%. It's a totally self-serving process. When I'm sure that there's anybody out there that is triggered by this conversation, it might be because you've had really deep trauma when you were maybe young. And I feel you. Without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark. I got you. I hear it. And I'm telling you that it doesn't matter what your childhood was like. Quit blaming your parents. They were there to screw you up. So I was there to screw up my kids. They're there to screw you up. And well, I have great parents. Well, then you probably had some jerk teacher that did some damage to your poor little brain. So
I can tell you, I had a lot of great influences when I was growing up, and I still managed to screw myself up.
Well,
so it wasn't them. It was me. It was all on me.
I know it was.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is that, and I was only kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. Even David Strickle says this. The stream says they're here to teach us, you see, and we learned behavior systems that were working for them, you see. That's like you, Walt, having a computer from the 80s and then buying a new one and thinking that the programs on the new one are going to run on the old one.
Yeah, that's not going to work too well.
Yeah. In fact, I don't even know if you plug the old one in, it might get electricity to it still. It might power up. Do you understand that, like, the things we were taught were just old school. That's all. Mm-hmm. And our parents did the best they could with what they had, for God's sake. So did Absolutely. I did the best I could with what I had and with my kids, but life happens.
And one of the reasons we come here is to learn stuff anyway through our own devices, through our own learning experience, rather than just to have everything explained to us.
Well, that kind of goes,
That's part of the point of being alive, right? I mean, if you're not learning anything, you're not doing anything. If you're not doing anything, you're living kind of a dull life, really, when it comes down to it. You know,
well,
yeah. I mean, you're just kind of you're couch potatoing, right?
I've couch potatoed. Have you ever couch potatoed?
I have, yeah. I didn't like what it did to me, but yeah, I've done it.
You know why they call it a couch potato, y'all? Because you look like
after
you look like a potato. You look like a potato with legs, and you may be sprouting something.
Oh God,
who knows? Like, you can lay there long enough, and you just don't know. I don't need. But okay, so I love. What I was getting to about the childhood, though, in all seriousness, was that in acceptance of all that is, and because it's divinely guided, divinely created, divinely it is. If I'm truly accepting all that is, then I'm accepting that even my parents, my parents did the best they could with what they had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's acceptance, and I love that. That goes into the next phase of understanding. The willingness to be curious and understanding, and then acknowledging. So a lot of people get really disappointed when they are seeking to be validated. And validation is an external approval.
That's right.
That is always, oh my God, and it's always going to disappoint you. That's like,
well, actually, there's one circumstance in which it won't disappoint you. There is one, and that's where you're not actually looking for it to re-energize you. You're like, oh, well, that was nice. That was unexpected.
That's
but
acknowledgement.
I'm not looking for that to fuel me, you know. So in that case, it's fine. It's when we try to use it as a way to refuel us, that's when we trip ourselves up, because you can't really refuel yourself from outside. It has to be from inside.
Okay, well, here we go. All right, y'all ready for this? Let's do it. Well, we're going to look at the difference between validation and acknowledgement.
Okay.
Well, you have done such a phenomenal job with this show. I want to acknowledge everything that you've done. It's amazing.
I appreciate that too. I really do.
Actually, it's true. Okay. Now, Walt, I want you to tell me all about the show that you just did. I mean, I want you to go into this space where you need to tell me what it is that you're doing.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but
all right. Let me do it my way. I'll do it from my direction. So, Walt, did you know that I had so-and-so on today? I'm just using an example, you guys. Today I had on this really cool guest and all of this, and this happened and that happened, and I need you to validate that you saw me.
I see what you're saying.
How would you validate me right now? So I'm seeking it out in you. Hey, Walt, I did this today. Did you see it here? I'm going to send you a link. Oh, and by the way, this, that, and this and that. And I'm going to point it all out to you. Now, I am expecting, now we're in a space where I'm expecting you right this very second to validate me. And if you don't validate me, I'm going to get mad at you.
And that in the pre-computer age, we used to call that fishing for a compliment.
Yeah. Well, now I'm
exactly what it is.
Yeah. And.
Is there another and in there?
Well, you didn't validate me. Now I'm going to get pissed at you.
Oh, I see. Well, have fun.
You aren't playing with me. I'm gonna.
I
Okay.
know. I don't play that game easily because I learned how not to do that one.
Well, I
Yeah.
know I learned how to do not too, but we have to show them what we're talking about.
Okay.
All
So
right.
let's see. How do you play that game? It's been a long time since I played it.
All right, we're moving right along. We're just two birds
Sorry,
of
I
a
screwed up the game.
feather.
I'm sorry.
He screwed up the game. He just did. You can't mess, and actually, you can't mess anything up. Really, can you actually mess something? Is it possible to actually mess it up? No, because I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You croak, and then you don't even care anyway. So who gives a floop? So I mean, really, it's like all this stress we put on ourselves for what? For what? Seriously. Okay, so difference between validating and acknowledgement. I think we all on here get this. Validation and acknowledgement are two different things. When you are stepping in to be understanding of somebody else's reality, that's compassion and action. And when you're able to do that and then purposely acknowledge them for who they are. And let's bring that compersion right back in here, baby.
Yeah, because that was the word of the day for Deborah. So yeah.
Celebrate the living pants off of them. Literally. Oh, Fluff Girl's at it again. Celebrate. Just giving you guys, spark that G vibe. Do you understand? You will raise that gratitude vibration right now, right here. You see, it works. Every one of you all are just going, oh my God. And you're laughing. And I love this because laughter is the key to, in essence, to everything that is good in this world. Seriously.
Yeah, well, it's the key to release. It's the key to relaxation. It's the key to getting to that high vibe space. And you do it really, really quickly with no effort. Great. All you got to do is go, ha ha, and boom, you're there.
I'm going to try that. Ha ha.
I mean, it doesn't take long.
Let's try that out. Let's do this. Okay, we're learning a new tool. It's a new tool. So that is the list. If anybody ever wants to, if anyone out there wants the actual document that I have on how to shift from blame, shame, criticism, resentment, doubt, and all of those things over to all of the list of the I just gave you, which is slam it out, the willingness to be curious, the willingness to be accepting, the willingness to be appreciative, the willingness to be understanding, to acknowledge, the willingness to be in celebratory energy with the person that's telling you that their life is awesome right now. And by the way, compersion is really good too. Just here's a trick. If somebody's down, rather than meeting them where they're at, remind them how great they are.
Yeah.
And now that I've saved the world's entire
also another way to do the same thing. I mean, yes, remind them how great they are.
Tell me.
Another way to do the same thing is to remind them what they love.
Ooh, I love you.
And I say that I've told this one a few times on the LOA Today podcast that especially if you're in mourning, somebody just died, right? Somebody you're close to passed away, or somebody you're at a wake and you're trying to support somebody who just lost somebody close to them. The best thing you can do for that person is to ask them to tell you a story about what they loved about the person who passed. I guarantee you, no matter how deeply in mourning they are, they're going to get a smile on their face within a few moments, just by telling that story about the love that they experienced. Because that's what happens when we're in mourning. Mourning is literally forgetting why, or even forgetting that we loved them, and saying, oh God, that person's gone. They're never going to be back. And then just being in that space of loss. By redirecting our attention over to the love side, all of a sudden you just help somebody lift this huge load off their shoulders. And I've used that one time and time again at funerals, at wakes, at memorial services with tremendous effect. I mean, it's you want to give a gift to somebody, there's the best gift you can give to somebody that I know of.
I love that. And it's interesting. The gratitude and grief.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're talking about. So I totally love that. Perspective shifts will change your life, and it's all perspective.
Right. Yeah.
People, what did you do? What a transformation! I shifted my crappy thinking.
We got a few bleeps that are going to have to go in here for the TV podcast, but that's all right.
Oh, fiddles. Fiddly D.
Hey, most of our places that we go, it doesn't matter, but we put it onto local cable access, so that's why I have to go blip it out.
Well, that's just oopsie-daisy.
It just
don't know what to say. So
there's nothing to be said. There's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive.
Thank you. Of course not, because forgiveness is another form of judgment. We've all decided that. Hey, Walt, what are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this week? Well, actually, I'm spending a large portion of the weekend putting my ad together for your magazine. That's where a good portion of the time is going. But beyond that portion, oh man, I'm going to be getting out. I'm going outside because the weather here in New England has been kind of on the cool side, and it's supposed to start getting warm this weekend. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time in nature. We may even get a bike ride in if it gets warm enough. But we're going to get some walks in, and we're going to go out and breathe the air, and which, especially in the era of COVID, is so important, just to get outside and breathe.
Yeah.
Breathing, man, that's like the best thing you can do. It's the best thing you can do when you, especially if you've been cooped up, cooped into a place of, you have to be sequestered away from the rest of the population. Yeah, but outside, you can go outside. It's okay. It's fair. It's safe, So yeah, I'm taking advantage of that. That's my big thing. Other than doing the ad, which is going to, by the way, that's going to take a bit of time. But the other
it's
part
going
of
to be
time,
cool though.
It is.
Yeah. See, guys, because you have to go to spiritualitygonewild.com and just look. It says Grateful Living. Just click on that. Make sure that you are on our email list so that you get it, or LOA's email list so that you get, and just go right there to loatoday.net/download to get the app and get on the mailing list and all that good stuff. And you guys will get this new edition coming out with James Twyman, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal, along with all of the other stuff that we have got. Oh my God, there's going to be so many cool people in this coming edition. And there's free book downloads and there's all kinds of cool stuff. It's just cool as heck. And look at Susie. Hi, Susie. What's up? She says, I never say sorry for your loss, just I love you. That's really super sweet. I say something, I say my heart's with you, or I love you. I love that. Just I love you is good.
It's a nice quick way to get them over to that love space and out of that lost space. Because that's really what it amounts to. It's just making that shift.
Totally.
It's so simple, but it's when you're in that really rough place, it's so complicated. It's difficult when you're there. So it's nice to have somebody help you there.
Totally. Yeah. Hey, look at Jeffrey. He says, I appreciate you. It's been thank you, sweetheart. Oh my God, you rock.
He is like, he's the ubiquitous fan everywhere, but he just comes out with some of the best stuff. And he's also a coach himself. He's a life coach. He comes out with some really good stuff because it's coming right off his experience. So
you just need to book with me, Jeffrey. You need to come on Cupagrata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality and be my co-squirt.
And he's good, by the way. We had him on, like it was ad hoc earlier this week. We just had him on for about 10 or 15 minutes. He was great. So yeah, he'd be a great addition. Absolutely.
That would be awesome. Hey, check this out. When the baby laughed for the first time, that's compersion. That's compersion. Okay. That's compersion. And the baby laughs for the first time when anybody does something that you celebrate, children laughing or talking for the first time and all those things. Of course, you then wonder later why you were in such a rush to have them talk. Mm-hmm. But, oh God, do you remember you said, oh my God, they haven't said their first word yet. They're like 2 days old. I don't understand. What's up? And then they do. Then 2 years later, and they're talking, and you're like, "I remember when." Just joking, you guys. Celebrate.
I'll just finalize the show by saying the best people in the world are little kids because they're the ones who are most recently in spirit, and they have the best memory of it. So I just love kids because they're the ones who remind us older people of what it was really like and help us reconnect. Good stuff. Hey, Deborah, this has been fabulous. Can't wait to do it again next week. I hope you have a great weekend. We didn't have a chance to ask you about it, but we'll ask you about it next week. Thank you very much to our podcast listeners as well, and all to our new visitors from Spirituality Gone Wild. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. I can't turn it off. Every time I click, it goes the wrong way.